baby. We are live in effect. It is Thursday, and you are tuned into the place to be. This is the Locker Room Show. I'm your host, Coach Terrence Wood. Welcome. And if you guys usually come in every Thursday, there might be somebody that you don't see that you're used to seeing, and that is none other than Q, the Guru. Unfortunately, Guru cannot be with us tonight. He's off on a job trip, a business trip, and he said where they sent him, you guys, there was no internet tonight. So I don't know if he's in the Amazon or something, but you guys pray for Guru, and he'll be back with us next week. But we got the man of the hour. And I'm excited to introduce him. I've known this man for a very, very long time, and he's doing tremendous things, you guys. Before we get into that, if you are unaware, then you need to be aware that we are hosting a college football recruiting accelerator, you guys. The recruiting game has changed, and a lot of you parents and athletes need to get caught up to date. So we are hosting a college football recruiting accelerator specifically for the class of 2025. That goes down in about a week and a half. So if you haven't already, you guys definitely check out before you go pro all of our social media channels and the recruiting accelerator, which is coming up and guaranteed to get you in position for that scholarship offer, that PWO you're looking for. But let's push that aside. Because you're going to get a lot of knowledge tonight that's going to help out with that as well. The gentleman that you see on the screen, you guys, like I said, I've known for a while. It has truly been a joy working with this young man, to a certain extent, mentoring this young man at times, and now becoming friends and family with him. He was a phenomenal athlete, you guys, himself. Coming out of the East Coast, went and played at Miami of Ohio, where he was a dynamic wide receiver, had a chance to play in the NFL himself, decided to hang up his cleats, you guys, and pursue a coaching opportunity. Started off at Xavier University and then transitioned to becoming the speed skating strength and conditioning coach for the Chinese Olympic team, where he won a couple of gold medals, some silvers, and transitioned from that into the NFL, you guys, where now he is currently a performance and strength and conditioning coach with the Philadelphia Eagles. And I am tremendously proud, you guys, to introduce Mr. Dustin Woods. Coach Woods, what's going on?
I know. That was a great intro, man. You made me out to be a whole lot greater than what I am, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, man. Well deserved, dude. And it's good to see you smiling. You got the hair growing out. I know you got the babies. I don't know if they're up or if they're asleep, but just so happy to have you on, man, tonight.
I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure, and I appreciate all you've been to me. So I'm always ready to do this for you, for the kids, for anybody watching. I just think it's great what you're doing. It's needed in this world. We need mentors. We need great people who are leading other great people. It just doesn't get much better than this. So hopefully people will tap into you weekly and just continue to use you as a resource. I think it's so valuable. And the older I get, the more I see that. So I appreciate who you've been to me. I'm ready to do this.
I love it. So, hey, you guys, he's on the East Coast. He's a busy man. They just got finished with OTA, so we're not going to keep Dustin long, but we got to get the sauce. We got to get this knowledge. I see some of our usuals checking in. The great Sadai Green Jr., he's checking in. Dustin from camp with UNLV. He's working with UNLV right now, so thanks for checking out. Coach Foss, as always, I see my mother-in-law popping in, Victoria Jones from Denver, and then speaking of UNLV, an All-American father, Rick De Jesus. We love you, Rick, and praying for Jacob this year with the Rebels, the running Rebels. So let's get into it, you guys. Once again, we got a superstar with us. This is somebody that is training guys at the highest level right now. He's got a lot of information to share. This is where he spends his time. This is his day job, and he's ready to give us the sauce. So let's get into it, Dustin. Hanging up your cleats, man. Hanging up your cleats. I mentioned in the beginning of the show, you were one hell of a player, man. And, I thought for a while that you would definitely have a pro opportunity, whether it was in the NFL or the CFL, maybe the Arena Football League, and you decided to kind of hang it up right away. What made you make that decision? Did you ever have any regrets?
Man, well, I would say I'll answer the last part first. Never had any regrets. I never had any regrets because the process taught me so much. And the simplest, easiest way to answer that question is life struck and love struck, right? I was married my senior year of college, and I was with my wife, now wife, for 8 years before we got married. And we got married. I still had a year of football left. She moved in with me. And when she was with me through the combine training, this and that, last year of football. And like you said, I had great potential. Great potential. I had the agent, went through all of that. I had some intangibles, speed being one of them. And, I had a couple of injuries and all those good things. But to answer your question in simplicity, I desired to have a stable and successful marriage more than anything. And I think what brought that on was my discernment of reality too. I didn't want to chase the dream. Always felt like I never wanted to chase the dream. And I'll tell you why. The main the foundation of that all is because of my faith. And I didn't want the NFL for the money or for praise of strangers or even validation in how good I was or my value on the football field. It had already provided so much for me, a free education, great connections, things like that. But football was used, and I knew in my heart that it was just going to be a vehicle for my faith and for me to express my faith. And my father was a coach. My brothers became coaches. And I knew that there was this, coaching ability, mentorship inside of me that I could also use, which I did right away when I hung up those cleats. Now, I didn't just give up after the draft. I continued to pursue, I continued to train, even thought about going back into baseball because I was, pretty elite in baseball too. But after a while, I was just like, you know what? I don't want to go to Canada. I had an offer there. Let me focus on my marriage. Let me focus on life. Let me focus on what God can do and use through me as a coach. And like I said, no regrets because he's laid that path out for me so clear with great opportunity for me to capitalize on. And I had to capitalize on it. Things like this just don't come free. I had to grow. I had to make mistakes. But man, I feel like I made the right choice, so no regrets. As hard as that pill was to swallow, I think I just had to have that discernment of reality.
100%, man. And, we make it in other ways. We make it pro, whether it was ministry, whether it was coaching. You were going to be pro. You were going to be big time in something. Let me ask you this, because I thought of this while you were talking. Did you go into Miami of Ohio knowing that football would be leverage, football would be a platform, or did you kind of figure that out as you were playing at Miami of Ohio?
I felt like I knew it would be a platform because I was always, I was just always so involved with my faith in the church, speaking, whether it's in youth group or speaking to just individuals. I'm very interpersonal. I love interpersonal relationships. I feel like that's where I thrive. And I always just wanted to speak the name of Jesus to people, right? So I just knew it was always a platform. I didn't know to what extent just because I didn't know truly what the Lord could do, right? And I didn't really even know my talent. I didn't grow up playing football. College football was like a big bang to me. I always tell people I played my freshman year of football, didn't play sophomore year, but I got a scholarship offer from a football camp just from running a 40. And this football game was thrusted on me really fast. I didn't even know that I couldn't block in the back, right? I didn't know how to block. I didn't know the rules of the game. Send me down the field, let me run, catch the ball like a baseball, and run for the touchdown. I mean, I wasn't that dumb, but that was my skill.
Keep it simple. Yeah.
It was very simple. So when I got to college, I had to learn a lot. So my just God-given talent thrusted me into the spotlight right away, right when I got to Miami. I mean, I was a 4-year starter there, and I still did not really know how to play football. I didn't have a football mindset. And then everything that came with it, it slowly just allowed me to understand, okay, if I make these right decisions, if I use this platform right, no matter what happens in my life, everything will be okay. But it's a growth process because it taught me so much. Like I said, I met people. I learned how to be business-like minded. I learned so many things at Miami because it's a great school. And yeah, I didn't really know what it had for me, but I'm glad I took that route.
That's amazing right there. And, for all of you athletes right there, some of you guys are young in your careers, but some of you guys will get to the point where you got to make that decision. I decided to continue to keep playing for better, for worse. He hung it up and has worked out tremendously, but you got to have a game plan. You got to have a game plan is what you're saying. So thank you for sharing that. Speaking of, man, the opportunity, I mean, you're coaching at the highest level. You're coaching Ferraris, Mack trucks, Tesla's trucks. You're coaching the best of the best. When you think back to your time with the Rams, when you think back to your current time now with the Eagles, give me 2 or 3 players, man, that pop into your head immediately as far as just impressing you, whether it was their work ethic, whether it was the way they moved business-wise. Give me 2 or 3 players that pop up.
Yeah, that's great. And you're right. I was very fortunate, have been very fortunate to work with top people in the NFL just by chance, right? The top one in my head is always going to be Aaron Donald. And I know you had those pictures. Aaron Donald is he's a beast. He's a monster. Obviously, he's benching 400 daily on an incline. But just his willingness to work and be a soldier, I mean, is unbelievable. And on top of that, he's a quality guy, too. He's not like this superstar guy that you are afraid to approach. He's very approachable. He's actually really, really funny. He's kind. He's appreciative. He's a human being, right? He's a human being. And I truly believe that's because he kind of came from the bottom and rose to the top, right? So he's as normal as they come, but he's just a monster on the field, off the field, whatever. Another one would be the one I'm currently working with too is A.J. Brown, just a physical specimen. And I'm so thankful that I get the opportunity to meet him and play with him. I mean, he's moving and doing things at 225, 230 pounds that a 185 man should be doing and can barely do. I'm talking about running 22 miles an hour, wow, jumping inches, and just his coordination, his ability to move in the air, his hands are so strong. He is just such a pleasure to watch. He makes me sit and be like, yeah, I did not belong in the NFL. It's just amazing. He catches everything. It's amazing. And you can't forget another one of my all-time favorites, Devontae Smith, who was kind of like the opposite of that. Heisman Trophy winner, right? He is 165 pounds doing things a 225 pounder is doing. So that's impressive. Jalen, he's going to be unbiased. His mental state, playing in the hardest place. Philadelphia is a hard place to play with media, all these things. And his mental state. And I know I'm biased because I know what he does off the field. I know what he does at home. I know the kind of stuff that he studies. It's just amazing how he handles politics, how he handles people's opinions, and still puts good product on the field. Even when it's top 3, it's not enough. He still finds a way to maintain. And since you mentioned business, I know you said too, but Ndamukong Suh, I got the pleasure to work with a couple of years too. His business, and he's a specimen too. Big, strong, very athletic. But his mindset, for those watching, or not even watching now, but going back, just check Ndamukong Suh out. Obviously, his reputation on the field stands, but he is a business mind man. He's going to make more money off the field than he is on the field. He was such a player out giving business advice, keeping kids under his wing, other players. Just amazing guy.
Wow, that's big time right there, and it speaks volumes, because what you see on the camera, what you're saying is they're that person behind the camera, that they put in that work, that they're nice gentlemen. So, if you young athletes, if guys like Aaron Donald, Ndamukong Suh, AJ Brown can be wholesome, can be good people off the field, then you can be too. So thank you for sharing that. And we've got Devin coming in. I see you, baby. Thank you for joining us. Another dad that has an amazing young man in his home too. So thank you for joining us right there. We're on to our next topic, guys. And once again, we've got the great Coach Dustin Woods. This is somebody I've known since he was in college. He's doing amazing things, you guys. He's got a couple gold medals at the house, was real close to a Super Bowl, and now you guys is a performance and strength and conditioning coach with the Eagles, working with guys like Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, like he said. So appreciate your time, man. Let's get into the strength coaching job. The strength coaching job, because obviously you guys staff is cream of the crop. The Eagles are known for being physical, and you better bring your lunch pail when you play the Eagles, man. But I wanted to ask you, because everybody has a responsibility in the NFL. When you guys sit back as a performance staff, what do you really feel like is your responsibility as far as pulling your weight for the Eagles?
Yeah, for sure. That's a great question, because a lot of people don't know. A lot of people, when I say I'm a strength and conditioning coach, they think I'm a trainer, like taping. Nothing against that. We need that too, to a high extent. But if I could put it in my words, it's just the overall, we're responsible for the overall player health and wellness. Okay. So it's basically our duty to present and program a high quality, science-based training program, make it reasonable, make it realistic, but more importantly, educate the players about their health, about their wellness, and about their level, about what they need at their level of understanding. And that's important, because we got to talk to these guys at their level of understanding and at their level of interest, so that we get buy-in, which is so important. We got to get them to buy into what we need for them to do in order for their bodies to be prepped and primed and as healthy as they can be and available to perform on Sundays. So that means we're looking at, we're studying and evaluating their needs based on what we see from our eye, what the data says, what their coaches want. And we use sports data so much now. Not every organization, but we're cut from that thread. And we're using force plates on the daily. We're using on-field GPS. We're using wellness questions, things like that. We take all of that to our advantage, and we use it the best that we can to pretty much also take this stuff to the coaches. And very similar to the athletes, we have to educate the coaches on the proper or ideal workload management on the field, so that the players have the best physiological space to play on Sundays. And again, we got to communicate to the coaches on their level of their understanding and, again, their interest, so that we can make the data make sense and just put these things in place in order for us to have the best season longevity wise as we can. But simply
That's
put,
amazing right there. Is that on an individual level too for each
yep,
athlete, or?
individual. So that's what I'm saying. We have player meetings. We go through each individual weights, like where they should be, where they shouldn't be. And then each coach, we have a 5-person staff. Each coach manages, certain groups, position groups. We'll do deep dives on sports science, what the things say, their hamstring strength, anything. We look at anything and everything. And like I said, it's about their health, their wellness at their level of understanding. It's not general health or general wellness. At this level, you have to be very intuitive about that specific person, not the group, but that person. And that's kind of where you get the bang for your buck. That's where you make a difference, talking about that 1%. So basically on the outside, though, we're strength coaches are evaluated by overall health of the team. And then which is great, but subjectively what makes it hard, it's obviously like a subjective reading of their conditioning levels or their ability to finish a game, or they're tough enough, things like that. That's what makes the evaluation difficult. But I truly believe if you do those things that I talked about before, everything else will take care of itself.
Wow, that's amazing right there. Yeah, I was wondering if it was, hey, if these guys can't finish in the fourth, is that on the strength coach or is that on regular coaching? You know, so it's interesting, especially at this level. We are
Mhm.
on to our next topic, you guys. And if you're joining us for the first time, once again, I'm your host, Coach Wood. Q, the guru, is out in the Amazon or somewhere. We're praying for his safe return next week. And then we've got the great Dustin Woods with us, performance and strength coach with the Eagles. Right now, man, you guys just got finished with the OTAs. A lot of guys are thinking this is a big year for the Eagles. So it's heavy competition, Dustin. But these young kids that we work with before you go pro are in camps. They're in camps. You mentioned you got a scholarship from a camp and they're competing and they're trying their best to get a scholarship themselves. I was wondering if, man, through all your years, whether it was as a player or as a coach, if you could give the young men listening any kind of competition hacks or things that they need to keep pinpoint when they're going through heavy, tough competition.
Yeah, I would say this might be a tough one to accept, but I think it's the reality of things. If I had to give advice about standing out in these camps, I think that starts long before, right? And what I would say is an aesthetically impressive body always attracts attention, and it gives the right assumptions that you want for certain qualities and attributes. So what I mean is that when you see somebody who looks good, doesn't mean they got to be tall, big, but if they look good, they're appealing to the eye. Coaches can't help but wonder, I wonder how good he is. That's passing the eye test. I'm just being straight up and honest. If you look good, you got some
I
tone
love
to
it.
you. All right, that's that, but that starts way before, right? And that can start. I got my kids working out now. They 7 years old, they're 9 years old because I want them to have a little bit of muscles poking out when people are looking at them because I know that gives them an extra opportunity. So, besides that and the aesthetics, besides that, having a motor that stands out. That means like you're going, you don't look tired. So again, that starts before you go to camp. It doesn't start at the camp. So having a motor that sticks out, not like one with swag, right? I'll be honest, not like the square motor. It's like kind of strange, but something that's confident. That's appealing, not obnoxious. I don't like the obnoxious stuff because empty barrels are the ones that make the loudest noise, right? So you don't want to be loud. You want to be appealing to the eye, and you want to have a motor. You want to look like you can go for days.
Okay. So when you guys get those rookies, that's what you're looking for. You're saying, okay, who looks like they're ready to go, and then who's got some pep in their step.
Yep. If they're in condition, they can go. There's no concern there. And then if they look the part, I mean, you get the benefit of the doubt. I'll just be honest. You get the benefit of the doubt.
There you go. There you go. So, hey, young athletes, you guys are in it. Your parents are spending this money to go to these camps. But like Coach says, it starts before. It starts before. So do those push-ups, those sit-ups. Make sure you're looking good when you guys get on campus. And then to the parents, if they're not doing those things, right, Coach, don't even spend your money if they're
Yep.
not doing those things. Okay. All right. So there you go. He said 7 years old. And his kids already got their muscles poking out. So you guys know what time it is in the Woods house. So let's get on to our next topic, you guys, and definitely appreciate your time, Dustin. This one I think is big, man. Surviving the game. Surviving the game. You mentioned having some injuries yourself. The Eagles had a couple of guys go down last year and out through the season. There's off-season work, Dustin, and then there's in-season staying healthy, And I just wanted to talk to you because you're strength and conditioning, you're a master nutritionist. What tips can you give some of these athletes as far as surviving the game, as far as putting their best foot forward to get through a season healthy next year? Some of these kids got a lot riding on this season.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a very important question, man. I could talk about that probably for days, but I'll hit on a couple things. I think the main thing for high schoolers, even college, but in high school, quality of movement. Okay, so this is going to take some on your part. Okay, so you have to have a high quality of movement. And what that does is that protects your health, your safety, but it also gives you better performance. If you're out there running drills, but it's not efficient quality movement. So like, for instance, like if you got a pebble in your shoe, okay, and you're walking up a mountain, taking a hike, 1,000 steps with the pebble in your shoe is going to change the way that you walk. It's going to create some chronic dysfunction, right? So if you're doing that over and over and over and you're running, you're accelerating, decelerating, over and over on that poor quality movement, you're going to have breakdowns. You're going to have injuries. So you have to correct. First, educate yourself on quality movement or be coached and take that coaching seriously so that everything else plays. That's a lot of what I do actually, is trying to correct poor movement qualities, right? So that we can protect these athletes the best that we can. But things like mobility work. Everybody has heard that word mobility, having good mobility, your run form, your strategies when you're changing direction, your coordination, fluidity, all those things are important. You can start doing now to protect yourself down the road. Continuing to work your craft and drills and all that. So, and then doing things that you can repetitively do that don't put wear and tear on your joints. So we call that joint friendly action. Okay. So that you're not always running and banging the joints and doing this and doing that. That's really important. You got to learn your body, got to learn how it responds to certain stimuli, and then how to recover from those negative responses. But my main point I want to get, because I saw this question, I thought this was a great question. And most people probably think I'm going to say, you got to lift weights, you got to run, you got to eat protein. To be honest, you find value. It's not about what you do. It's about what you become, right? Yeah. It's about maturity and discipline. Something about that foundation of being disciplined. Because motivation will get you one good decision, but discipline helps you make many good decisions. Okay, it's a concept from a pastor named Darius Daniels that he talks about modification versus transformation. And he uses a butterfly caterpillar. Okay, not to get too long-winded, but there are certain heights that a butterfly can get to that a caterpillar simply cannot. But it's the same animal, same species, same thing. But modification is just becoming a faster caterpillar. But transformation is becoming a butterfly. So going through that process and truly transforming yourself to have discipline as an individual, to have mature discipline, that's a process that's worthwhile. So you got to not just by life, you got to transform yourself to have true discipline that's going to last.
Wow, that's big right there, you guys. So, hey, surviving the game, it's not just the little things. He's saying it's a whole person, it's a whole lifestyle, you guys, and you got to transform into the person that can survive the game. So that's big right there. We are on to our next topic, you guys, and we are cooking. This is the lightning round, Now, you guys know we don't have the guru with us. I see you getting ready, but we switched it up on you. So we're used to the lightning round, but Dustin has already been on the locker room show and been through the lightning round. And plus, we don't have a guru with us. So if you guys are OGs, if you're locker room show OGs, you know we switch it up. We switch it up when the guru isn't here. So what we have tonight is Hall of Fame or not. Hall of Fame or not, you guys. So Dustin is the commissioner. He is the czar of the Hall of Fame. Nobody gets into the Hall of Fame without Dustin's permission. All right, you guys? Nobody's getting into the Hall of Fame without this man signing off on it. So with Hall of Fame or not, we've got 3 potential inductees. Now, these are people that are officially not in the Hall of Fame. Now, all 3 of them in the real Hall of Fame may eventually make it, but not in Dustin Woods' Hall of Fame. In Dustin Woods' Hall of Fame, only 2. Only 2 of the 3 can make it. Only 2 of the 3. So, are you ready, Dustin, for Hall of Fame or not? You ready to roll?
Yeah, it got me sweating though.
All right. So first up, we got 2 categories for you. 2 categories. First up, since you were a wide receiver, we're going with wide receiver. So we've got 3 wide receivers right here, and only 2 Only two can make it to the Hall of Fame. The other one has no chance of getting in. Who is getting into the Hall of Fame? Dustin Woods, Torrey Holt, Chad Johnson, or Steve Smith. You can choose two.
Steve Smith for sure. Steve Smith for sure. Dag, I'm from Cincinnati, you know.
Who are you leaving out the Hall of Fame?
Yeah. All right, cool. I know they're supposed to be kind of like lightning. I'm gonna leave Chad out.
He's leaving Chad out. Ocho, I'm sorry, Ocho. So you have no chance. I know he threw on the gold jacket during the game, but no chance with Dustin Woods. The ones who are getting in are the great Torrey Holt, greatest show on turf, Hall of Fame, probably gonna get in and Super Bowl champ. And then he said Steve Smith. He's going with the little guy, Steve Smith. All right. Round two of Hall of Fame or not. We are going to the running back group. We're going to the running back group. Only two can get into Dustin Woods Hall of Fame. This is the group. We've got Adrian Peterson, we've got Frank Gore, and we've got Fred Taylor. Who is being left out of the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, Peterson gonna have to wait a little bit. Peterson got
Okay, he's saying no Peterson. Said no Peterson. So he is going Frank Gore and he is going Fred Taylor. We may get some blowback on that one. And like I said, all of these gentlemen make it in. We got Coach Foss saying he made the right choice, even though he's from Ohio, leaving Ocho out right there. So there is a little fun, you guys. When we don't have the lightning round, we got Hall of Fame or not. Once again, he's going with Torrey Holt and Steve Smith going in. And then he's going with Frank Gore and Freddie T going into the Hall of Fame. So love it right there. So, hey, you guys, we are on to our last portion of the show. Hopefully you guys are enjoying. I know you're getting a bunch of value. If you have a question, then please don't hesitate. Put it in the comments section of the show, whether it's something from back in Dustin's history or now maybe with the Eagles. He's working with Jalen Hurts. He's working with Anthony Brown. He's working with Mims. So if you guys have a question, please do not hesitate. But I got a question for you, man, because you've had a very, very unique journey to get to this point. It even took you to China. But when you think back to the leverage sports has provided you, can you maybe explain for the audience, for these kids who don't know, might be meeting a coach tomorrow that they're going to know for 20 years. Can you explain what being an athlete and the leverage that has provided for you and your family?
Yeah, incredible leverage. Absolutely incredible. I mean, starting at a young age, my father was our coach. I mean, 5 of us, okay? I mean, one of the greatest athletes I ever seen was actually my sister. She's now a coach, just amazing athlete. But that just grew these qualities within us, right? Because you got to be able to stay on top of school. You got to be able to stay on top of certain disciplines in order to be a great athlete and to succeed. But man, when I got to college, I realized that the amount of people that want to hire and be involved with athletes is incredible. And if you step back and you take advantage of it and you actually talk to people, take the headphones out of your ear, you have a personality, you learn how to have a conversation with people, you will never go without a job. You will never go without a job. Colleges have so many people and they're so spread out all over the country. And there's always going to be somebody that you could have made contact with or somebody could reach out to on your behalf. And you will always have the opportunity to make a career for yourself, no matter what it is. But people always relate to athletes. They want to be a piece of an athlete. They want something that they have. It's literally up to you to take advantage of it. If you don't, that's all on you. But the advantage is there. The advantage is there. But you have to be a good quality person. You have to have those disciplines. You have to treat people right. You can't walk around with your headphones and your head down all the time. So, but the opportunity is what exists. And that doesn't happen for everybody. Straight A students can go to school and not have that kind of opportunity. You could be a C student, just barely get in and have ample opportunity. It's there for you. That's what I realized.
Wow, that's amazing right there. And like you said, relationships and just the opportunities that you're given are rare. And I see the great Coach Foss coming in, and he says, what stadium for a road game is the hardest or loudest that you guys had to play in?
The loudest I have been in was Arrowhead. Arrowhead. Now that's because they're good too and everything, but it was cold. It was rocking. It was incredible. Just a great experience.
Wow. Wow. There you go. So hey, obviously, man, you know I love you to death, dude. And this is just the beginning for you. That's the beauty is you got started right away. So you can do this thing till the wheels fall off. So I'm so excited, man, for the future and you know, the family, hopefully all is well. And thanks for coming on the Locker Room Show again.
Always my pleasure. I appreciate it. Thank you.
There you guys have it. So that is the great Dustin Woods. And I mean, doing amazing things, you guys, doing amazing things. Hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's show. This is somebody that I've known since he was a young buck in college. So much potential, started mentoring him, always wanted to get to that pro level, but who knew it would be in something outside of actually being the athlete, actually being on the field. So now he's coaching these guys and he's doing an amazing job. So if you guys happen to be watching the Philadelphia Eagles this year, please, you know, keep an eye on Dustin on the sidelines. Otherwise, you guys need to make sure that you are sharing the link for the College Football Recruiting Accelerator with as many people as you possibly can. Once again, this is for the class of 2025, you guys. A lot of student athletes got left behind last year, got left behind that deserved to play at the next level, deserved to play college football, and they were overlooked because of the transfer portal. So we want to make sure that the kids that are serious, the ones that really want it, have an opportunity to do it. And we're going to give you all of the tools, all of the blueprints that we have that we use to get kids to the next level. What's included? You guys will have a morning workout with Coach Jannaric James, former D1 athlete, an athlete nutrition guide, huddle evaluation, recruiting success roadmap, a live Q&A with college coaches and myself, and then we have NIL strategy at the end, you guys. So I'm going to put the link in the comment section here so that you guys can click on that, check it out, and then also share that with as many people as you possibly can. Please copy that link, check it out. The Recruiting Accelerator is starting in about a week and a half. And everybody who attends that Recruiting Accelerator is going to be a step ahead. Trust me, it's going to be a step ahead of everybody else in their class when it comes to college football recruiting. So, hey, hopefully you guys got a lot of value out of tonight. We will have Q, the guru, back with us next week. You guys that are going to camps, you guys that are hustling, trying to find a way to get to the bag, we wish you the best of luck, all right? Check out the accelerator. Make sure that you like and subscribe and share the Locker Room Show link with as many people as you can. We love you, and we will definitely see you at the top. Have a good one.